Hey friends, welcome to my kitchen. My name is Allison and today we are going to be making 6 different sourdough discard recipes. Cookies, a lemon blueberry loaf, muffins, and more to help you use up that starter that's sitting in your fridge without any fuss. As a mom of 2 under 3, I need recipes that are quick, flexible, and work on busy days, and I know you do too. If you've got a jar of discard staring at you from your fridge, then you are in the exact right place. Let's bake some cozy, doable sourdough recipes together, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Well, I am still very pregnant. I'm about 40 weeks at this point, a little over 40 weeks. So really just trying to keep myself occupied before or while we wait for baby to arrive. I have these brown bananas that I really need to make something with or just throw away. So today I decided we're gonna make some banana bread and then a couple, some sourdough discard banana muffins as well. And so these will be great for me when I'm postpartum. We can eat them as snacks, breakfast, whatever. But yeah, trying to keep myself busy while we wait for baby's arrival. I will be honest, this banana bread recipe does not have sourdough in it, but I figured I would just include it in the video anyway because who doesn't love banana bread? I promise the rest of the stuff will have sourdough discard in it, but this banana bread recipe has been in my family. It's the one that my mom always used growing up and that I still use, although I don't add the sugar anymore, like regular white cane sugar. I sub in honey. I put probably about 2 to 3 tablespoons of honey. You could even just leave honey out. I will link the recipe below. That one does have the sugar, so you can kind of decide what you want to do. You can add the sugar, leave the sugar out, add honey, whatever. I like it all the ways. So we have 1/2 cup unsalted butter, 1 cup of white sugar, 2 eggs, 3 large ripe bananas, 1 teaspoon vanilla, 1 teaspoon baking powder, 3/4 teaspoon baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1.5 cups of flour, and 1/2 cup of chocolate chips. Or you can add a little bit more. I usually kind of splurge on the chocolate chips. But anyways, and then we bake at 350 in the oven. So if you're doing a larger loaf pan, I would do 45 to 50 minutes, put it in for 50, check, or put it in for 45, check it, and then you can always add 5-minute increments on. You just don't want to overbake it. But I also like to use 3 to 4 small loaf pans, and those you still put in at 350, but then only I would put it for 25 minutes and then check it, and you can add again 5-minute increments until you know it's done. For the banana sourdough muffins, we need 3 ripe bananas, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon vanilla, a 1/4 cup melted butter, a 1/4 cup honey, 1/2 cup sourdough discard, 1.5 cups all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon sea salt. And I will link these in the description below so you can easily access them, print them off. They can also be found on my blog, ourfamilycooks.com. Honestly, these muffins were a lifesaver for me postpartum. So I'm obviously still pregnant here, but we're doing the voiceovers later. I'm no longer pregnant, and they were so nice whenever I was nursing or just a quick breakfast in the morning. I also had froze egg cups, so I would eat a couple egg cups to get some protein and then also have these muffins along with them. And it's just so easy to prep, throw in the microwave, add a little butter, and so easy to do all one-handed when you're sleep deprived and don't want to think about what you're going to eat. For the double chocolate sourdough muffins, we need 2 cups all-purpose flour, 1 cup sugar or honey. I substituted with honey, 1/2 cup cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 2 eggs, 3/4 cup cottage cheese, 1/2 cup butter, softened or melted, 1/2 cup sourdough discard, 2 teaspoons vanilla, 1.5 cups of chocolate chips. These are so delicious, and I added the cottage cheese just to get a little extra moisture into them, along with extra protein. You could also substitute that with Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt, if you have that instead. And I will say I'm using my handheld KitchenAid mixer here, and it was starting to look really thick while I was mixing this together, so I did add about a 1/4 cup of milk to this, and I did add that onto our recipe as well, so I'll link those in the description below. And then you guys can access that full recipe. You can print it off, you can put it to Pinterest, all the good things. And then we're just gonna do a little quick cleanup. I always like to clean my countertop and put all the ingredients away before getting the next thing out, such as the muffin tins here. It just resets my brain, and if I have too much stuff out all at one time, then it is just cluttered and my brain doesn't like it. So I like to do a little cleanup as we go. And I will say, if you have a large baking day or meal prep day, cleaning as you go is a lifesaver. It probably seems like, oh, that's going to take extra time because I got to stop and clean. But no, in my opinion, it has definitely helped it not feel so overwhelming once you get to the end of your baking day or meal prep day. If you've already gotten, a fourth of the dishes or half of the dishes done, and now you only have, after you're all done, you only have the other half or even a fourth to do. So that's just a little tip, is clean as you go. I have these 2 muffin tins that I absolutely love. They're from Pampered Chef, but I will link a couple other similar options that you can easily find on Amazon in the description below. And also, I really like these paper liners that I found online, also on Amazon. They're just made out of paper. They don't have like a greasy coating or silicone on them, so they are food grade material, and I just really like using these instead of like tin foil or something, because I feel like they're made out of paper. They'll probably more biodegradable than other liners that you might buy. I don't know, is that true? Maybe not, but it makes me feel a little better about using liners. I just really prefer using liners because honestly, muffin tin pans are my absolute least favorite thing to clean. Trying to get into each of the cupcake grooves and all the nooks and crannies is just so annoying, and I will let them sit next to the sink. Kind of ashamed to say this, for a day or more, quote unquote, soaking, because I just don't want to clean them if I don't use the muffin tin liners. So it is what it is. And for the banana sourdough muffins, I did get an even 12. And then for the double chocolate, I had a little batter left over, so I think I got about 14 muffins. And I did fill the double chocolate ones pretty full. So I would say that recipe, you could get about, for sure, 12 and maybe even 14 or 16 muffins out of that one. Let's get our banana bread onto a cooling rack. And look how good this turned out. Oh my gosh. Absolutely love banana bread. This is going to be perfect for us to snack on once baby arrives. So these muffins are going to go in the oven at 350 for about 15 to 20 minutes. Make sure to use a toothpick to check for doneness and that you don't take them out too early. I always prefer to set it around like 16 minutes, check it, and then you can always put it back in for a couple more minutes. You just don't want to overbake them and then they're dry. Now, this next recipe was one of my favorites that I've been trying out and using with my sourdough discard. So they're sourdough chocolate chip blondies. They ended up being so gooey and delicious. Oh, I can't wait for you guys to see the finished product. So they are 1 cup all-purpose flour, a 1/4 cup sourdough discard, 1 cup brown sugar, 8 tablespoons of melted butter. That's an entire stick. Yes. 2 teaspoons vanilla, 1/2 teaspoon baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon salt, and 3/4 cups of chocolate chips, and then 1 egg. So we're gonna cook that or bake it at 350 degrees or 176 degrees Celsius for 20 to 25 minutes. To bake these, I'm using a 9x9-inch baking pan. You could use glass, metal, whatever you have, but I like the 9x9-inch size because it just makes the right thickness for these blondies. They're not too thin, not too thick. They end out being perfect. And then I also always put parchment paper down. It's just so much easier than spraying it with a spray or spreading butter on it. So I just really like and prefer using parchment paper. So if you have that, you can use that. If you don't, that's totally fine. You don't have to use parchment paper. You can spray it. You just don't want it to stick. I hope you enjoy the little cameo of our newest member to the family. I had a little baby boy mid-summer, and so he's just doing great. At the time that I recorded this and made these Blondies, he was about 5 weeks old. And he was 9 pounds when he was born, so he was a big old baby. But he's doing great, and yeah, we love him. So it's been a while since I've given you guys a garden update, but our cucumbers have just been coming in like crazy, and our tomatoes are finally turning red. We've got lots of the little grape tomatoes. We have a bunch of Roma tomatoes coming in, so we're wanting to do some salsa probably this weekend. So hopefully I'll be able to record that and then get a video up on how we can and process salsa. And then my husband found a couple really delicious looking recipes for cucumbers. One is a drink. It's like cucumbers and lime, and we've never made it before, so we are gonna try and make that as well. And we might add a little bit of tequila or something fun in there, just, for the adults if you'd like. But we haven't ever done that before, so we're gonna try that, see how it works, and then if we love it, I will share the recipe with you. So this is a little haul of our veggies right now. We have gotten a lot more, and then I'll also take you and show you the garden. Another way I love to use my sourdough discard is in pancakes. And this is an easy one to prep the night before, so that's what we're doing here. My daughter wanted to help me, so we are mixing up the pancake ingredients on Friday, and then we're going to use these on Saturday morning for breakfast. So the recipe is 1.5 cups all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons honey, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1 teaspoon baking soda, 2 teaspoons baking powder, 1 cup sourdough discard, 2 eggs, 1 cup milk, and 3 tablespoons melted butter. And I honestly would also recommend having them sit in the fridge overnight, because then you get the fermentation benefits of the sourdough discard throughout the batter and into the pancakes. And I think it makes them taste fluffier. So the next morning before you make these, you're just going to want to give it a good stir. It might have a little grayish color on the top of your batter since it's been sitting overnight in the fridge, but that is perfectly fine. Just stir it up and you can still use it and make your pancakes with it. And we didn't do it this morning, but we also love to sometimes add chocolate chips or even walnuts. That adds a nice little crunch and a little extra flavor to your pancakes. I recently joined a book club, and the book we just finished reading was called You Bet Your Stretch Marks by Abby Halberstadt. And one of the chapters in the book was talking about how it can seem a lot easier on us moms to just tell our kids, especially the toddler age, don't worry about helping cook dinner or doing any cleaning. You go watch a movie, play on your tablet, whatever, because we can just do it a lot faster by ourselves, and then it's less stressful. However, in the book, she highlights how it is our job as moms and parents to teach our kids, and we need to start now. Yes, there are going to be a lot more messes. Trust me, I have plenty of them with my toddler. We might get some shells in our eggs that we have to dig out. However, when they're about 8 or 9, it'll all pay off because they'll be able to help us with dinner. There won't be as much of a mess because we've been teaching them. There won't be the shells in the food. And now they've mastered this skill, and then it will be less of a burden on us because maybe they'll want to make dinner all by themselves or make the muffins all by themselves. And we need to obviously make sure we teach them to do dishes and clean up. But that's just something that I read in that book, and it really stood out to me. Like, we're stewarding our kids to become well-adjusted adults who know how to navigate around in society, who know how to cook, who know how to clean up after themselves. And it's really important for our kids to be able to learn these skills. And it's also great bonding time. I mean, it might be a little frustrating at times, but your kid will love it. So I really enjoyed reading that book, and I would highly recommend you all read it as well. To make this lemon blueberry sourdough loaf, you need 2 cups all-purpose flour, a teaspoon baking powder, a teaspoon baking soda, half teaspoon salt, 1 tablespoon lemon zest, 1 cup sourdough discard, a 1/4 cup of honey. You could also do a 1/4 cup of dark brown sugar, but I am doing honey in this recipe. Half cup melted butter, 2 eggs, 2 tablespoons lemon juice, a 1/4 cup milk, and 1 cup of fresh blueberries. Again, all of this will be linked below, and it's on my blog, ourfamilycooks.com, so you can find a printable recipe version. When you use any type of fresh fruit, make sure to toss them in a little bit of flour before adding them into your bread or your baked good. That way they won't all sink to the bottom when you are baking it. When you're zesting a lemon, just make sure to only get that bright yellow part. The white pith underneath can taste bitter. The zest is where all those natural oils are, so it gives your baked goods a stronger, fresher lemon flavor than just using juice alone. A little goes a long way, and it makes everything smell amazing in your kitchen. And we'll bake our lemon loaf for 55 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So we'll also make a glaze to go over top of this once it's cooled, and that would be a 1/4 cup of powdered sugar and 1 tablespoon lemon. Ends up like here at the end. My bread, when I cut it open, you can see that there's blueberries kind of mixed throughout the bread. They're not just all on the lower half of your bread. Okay, if you're still hanging with me, let's make something a little more snacky. Sourdough raisin oatmeal cookies. These are such a hit with my toddler. They're soft, chewy, and just sweet enough for an afternoon treat. Plus, I love that they're made with sourdough discard, so it feels like a little healthier way to sneak a snack into a cookie break. Or a cookie into a snack break. For these cookies, we need 1.5 cups all-purpose flour, half teaspoon baking soda, a 1/4 teaspoon baking powder, 1 egg, a 1/4 cup sourdough discard, half cup butter, half cup white sugar, a 1/4 cup brown sugar, half cup oats, half teaspoon salt, half teaspoon vanilla, and 1 cup of raisins. Or if your family does not like raisins, you can do chocolate chips. I was just trying to find a different way instead of, I did chocolate blondies and just using chocolate a lot. We like raisins, so I figured to kind of swap it out and use some raisins in this recipe. I did store these in the fridge overnight. No particular reason, just ran out of time the one day that I was making them, so ended up baking them the next day. Stored them in the fridge, just covered it. And when you go to make these, just scoop them onto a baking sheet and bake at 350 for about 12 to 15 minutes until the edges are golden and obviously your kitchen smells amazing. I love that they stay soft even after cooling, which makes them perfect for little hands. And fun facts, oats don't just add fiber, they also help keep cookies chewy and moist.